So good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Tyler McGinnis and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a policy analyst with the Oregon Center for Public Policy. If you don't know us at the Oregon Center for Public Policy, we are a nonpartisan think tank dedicated to improving the economic outcomes for all Oregonians, particularly low-income families and Oregonians of color through research and analysis. And in my role at the center, I work on advancing policies that raise Oregonians' incomes. And last year, the Oregon legislature created a new tax credit that boosts the incomes of Oregon families with young children who are struggling the most to get by. The Oregon Kids Credit, as it's known, is available now for families to claim in the current tax filing season. So very grateful for those of you who are jumping on the line with us live, or those of you who are checking out this recording later, for carving out some time in your day to learn more about the Oregon Kids Credit and how you can help ensure that all families who are eligible for the credit claim it. As I noted, we are recording this webinar to make it available to people who aren't able to join us live today. And just to note, if you are watching this on a recording, please remember that eligible families must file their taxes by April 15th, 2024, in order to claim the Oregon Kids Credit for the 2023 tax year. So let's go ahead and jump in. Before we talk a little bit more about the credit, I wanted to start by talking a bit about why it's so important. We've all seen how hard it is for Oregon families to get by in recent years. Research from the United Way estimates that as many as 44% of all Oregonians lack the income that they need to meet a basic survival budget. So those are Oregonians who are struggling to afford the basics, things like rent, keeping food on the table, etc. And studies have long documented the effects of poverty on child development. Research has shown that simply by giving families some additional income, children can have improved physical and mental health outcomes and are more likely to be economically secure in adulthood. In 2021, Congress temporarily expanded the federal child tax credit, or CTC. It made the credit more generous, it made it fully available to families with little or no income, and it began paying out a portion of the credit in advance monthly installments. The impact that we saw from that expansion was immediate and significant. Between 2020 and 2021, child poverty was cut in half at the national level. It was the largest decrease in child poverty in a single year on record. And remember, that was at a time when the economy was still really struggling from the impacts of the pandemic. Unfortunately, that expansion, which was so successful, was only temporary. And in 2022, as a result of the expanded federal credit expiring, we saw the largest increase in child poverty in more than half a century from 2021 to 2022. And in raw numbers, about 192,000 Oregon kids lost access to either a portion of the federal CTC or lost access to it altogether. And so entering the 2023 legislative session, we were setting out alongside a broad group of coalition partners and legislative champions to create a new state-level child tax credit that is designed to fill the gap left by the expanded federal CTC's expiration. And I should note too that we saw broad bipartisan support for the Oregon Kids Credit. In fact, the final bill that created the credit passed by a vote of 75-2 between the House and the Senate. And so it was really clear from that experience that lawmakers knew that Oregon families were struggling with the rising cost of raising kids, and they responded by creating the Oregon Kids Credit. So let's take a look at the credit itself. What is the Oregon Kids Credit? Well, the Kids Credit creates a new, fully refundable tax credit worth up to $1,000 per child under age 6 in a household. Families who are earning between $0 and $25,000 a year can claim that full $1,000 per child under age 6, up to a limit of 5 children being claimed. Eligible families earning a little bit more than $25,000 can still receive a partial credit for any eligible child in the household. as eligibility phases out by $30,000 in income. And it's important to note here that families don't need to have documented earned income in order to claim the credit. They just need to file their Oregon tax return. So, for example, a single mother who's dropped out of the workforce in order to take care of a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at home can still claim the Oregon Kids Credit, even if she doesn't have earned income to show on a tax return. So that's an extra $2,000 that she's eligible for to help pay the rent, keep food on the table, buy clothes for her kids, etc. And I should note too that while filing taxes is nobody's idea of fun, families with earned income who do claim the Oregon Kids Credit are likely to be eligible for a number of other refundable credits like the federal and state earned income tax credits and Oregon's Working Family and Dependent Care Credit. And together, these credits can be worth thousands of dollars to families who qualify. So while families do need to file their taxes in order to claim the Oregon Kids Credit, they may also receive other benefits that go a long way towards helping them make ends meet. Families can also claim the credit regardless of which number they use to file their taxes. So some credits exclude people, mainly immigrants, who use what are called individual taxpayer identification numbers, or sometimes you hear them referred to as ITINs. The Oregon Kids Credit includes filers who use either a social security number or an ITIN to ensure that every eligible Oregon child can receive the credit. And the Oregon Kids Credit is indexed to inflation. So over time, the credit amount and those income limits that I've mentioned will grow. So at the very least, families who are qualifying for the Oregon Kids Credit today, if their economic circumstances aren't changing and they have eligible children in the future, they won't be losing ground. We've done a lot of analysis in our organization to try to better understand what the impacts of the Kids Credit might be. And we've estimated that nearly 55,000 children across the state of Oregon stand to benefit from the Oregon Kids Credit. Our analysis shows that these kids are disproportionately Black, Latino, and Indigenous, and are more likely to live in rural communities. And as many as 5,000 kids across the state could be lifted out of poverty as a result of their families receiving the Oregon Kids Credit. And so, as I mentioned at the top, families have already started to file their taxes and they can start claiming the Oregon Kids Credit today. But we really need help from you all to make sure that every family who is eligible for the credit knows about it, knows how to claim it, and knows how to find free tax preparation assistance to help them get those dollars that they deserve. So let's talk a little bit about how you all can help in that effort. We've created a landing page that you can share with families or folks in your network who might be able to help spread the word for folks to learn who's eligible for the Oregon Kids Credit and to easily direct people who might qualify to free tax preparation assistance in their area. So you can either visit that site by going to www.ocpp.org/OKC, or you could scan the QR code that you see on your screen here, and that'll take you to that same landing page. When you go to that page, the page is laid out in a pretty straightforward manner. So first things first, you would see this button here and learning how to get your credit. So clicking that there will scroll the page down for you and it will kind of review those bits of qualifying information that we've talked about here already. So folks can quickly look at that and determine if this is something that they might qualify for. And then there's a few spots on the page, but right up here at the top when you first get there, a link to the Department of Revenue's website with resources for free tax preparation services available across the state. So people can come to this landing page, determine whether or not they think they might be eligible, and then quickly find tax preparation assistance in their community to claim the Oregon Kids Credit. Other avenues that you can also direct people to, just as reminders, you can always have folks dial 211 to reach 211 info. And the folks at 211 info can help connect people to tax preparation services in their communities as well. When you go to this landing page, as you scroll down, you'll also find images that you can download and share on social media accounts. Those images have the same QR code that I showed on the previous slide, so you can help people navigate quickly to this page that way. And there's a link to the Department of Revenue's outreach materials that they've created, which include printable flyers and social media content in nearly 20 languages that are popularly spoken across the state. We have all of these materials that I've mentioned, both the ones that we've created at the Center for Public Policy, as well as the Department of Revenue's materials available in a toolkit that we can share with any of you here in the room or watching on the recording directly. And I'll share my email in a moment. You can reach out directly to me if you'd like to get a copy of that toolkit. But again, we really need your help in distributing these materials to anyone in your network who might qualify for the credit, or anyone who can help us spread the word even further. So please do take a look at those and help us circulate these materials widely. So together, we can help ensure that the families who are struggling the most have some additional resources to make ends meet thanks to the Oregon Kids Credit. But we need to make sure that families know that they're eligible to claim it. And that's where we really need your assistance in helping us connect with those families. So if you have questions about how you might help us spread the word, or if you have an idea that you want to talk through with us, please reach out to me directly. My email is here on the screen, tmckinnis@ocpp.org. That's tmackinnis@ocpp.org. And also, please reach out to me there if you'd like to receive a copy of the full toolkit. I'm happy to share those widely with you.